What's going on, guys? This is Bradley alongside my wonderful co hosts, Zach and Dawson. And tonight is a special night because we are going to be put in the shoes of Eric DaCosta, formerly Ozzie Newsome. And we're going to be doing some mock drafts. So, draft season is really picking up. It's getting fun. We're going to have 3 of these 3 weeks before the draft. We're going to do this every Monday before the draft. And it's going to be exciting. We're each going to do our own. And the other 2 are going to be critiquing the other person who is drafting. But yeah, guys, how you guys doing? Draft season is really approaching. All the rumors are floating around. It's getting pretty exciting.
We are super close to the draft, man. It's coming up really quick. And the fun thing with mock drafts is there's no wrong answer, dude. We never know what's going to happen till draft night. And we can go so many different alternative routes with this. And it's going to be super exciting to see what we come up with.
Yeah, when you said that the other 2 would be critiquing, I was hoping that even the comments would be critiquing. I hope that anyone watching or listening disagrees completely with all my picks. I would love to argue. So I'm just looking forward to all the reactions from both you guys and anyone watching.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be fun. And if anyone's listening to this or watching this after we're live, be sure to comment any of your reactions as well that you have. So, I guess let's just get right into it. Zach is going to be drafting first, and we're going to see how this goes. So this is a mock draft simulator made by light_2610 on Twitter. Shout out to him. It's called mockdraftcentral.io if anyone wants to use it. It's probably the favorite mock draft simulator I've used. There's no ads or anything like that. It's pretty sweet. So we're going to start this, Zach, and get you going here. So we'll go 7 rounds, and we'll start slow for the first round. Ravens, obviously. And let's see what is cooking here. Okay, so Cam Ward goes early. Hunter and Carter.
Yeah, looking pretty chalk. That's all right.
Hampton to the Cowboys.
Campbell went really high up there.
Zabel going early. Dart to the Steelers.
Shodura 18.
Oh my
Okay. So we're here at 27. We're here at 27. We got Shamar Stewart available. T-Mac is available, Zach. I feel like there's a chance that happens. So we'll leave him on the board for you.
Will you scroll up a little bit just to see like the last couple people taken in the actual draft?
Yeah.
Yeah, Kenneth Grant was definitely high on my list. Shoot. That would have been high for me.
Shador went to Seattle.
Shador. Okay.
And Worries off the board.
To Seattle's crazy.
So Zach, who are you sort of thinking about at 27 here?
I have a pipe dream for one specific guy. I mentioned it. It might have been safeties because we were talking about a hopeful second round guy. But I think first round I'm looking towards edge, and I'm either eyeing someone like Stewart or Pierce. I love both those guys.
Dawson, what are you thinking right here with these guys available?
Those are some pretty good players available. I'm not going to lie. I think I have to agree with Zach. I think edge has to be the pick here, given the board that's fallen. There's really good players opposite of edge as well. I don't think Tat McMillan makes it that far. I don't know if that's realistic enough. There is a chance, but there's some really good players there that could easily go top 20 in this draft, or, this could be realistic where they fall this far. And I think I'm eyeing with Zach on this one.
Shamar Stewart is interesting because, sorry, Zach, there's a chance he goes, top 10 because of the talent. Yeah. Also, I mean, I could see him maybe falling because of basically no production recently. McMillan, I'd say, is unlikely to be here, but it's an interesting thought. Like, if he were to fall here, what is the thought process of possibly adding a McMillan to a Bateman Flowers receiver room? It's definitely interesting. I'm not saying I would do it.
Not to mention Starks is here. Like
exactly,
everyone's been mocking Starks to the Ravens. Like that feels like also a chip shot free throw of a first round pick too. But yeah. I think I have to lock it in. I'm really high on him. I've mentioned it before, even though I'll mention it in a different way whenever we do the edge breakdown for that preview. But I'm taking James Pierce here.
Pierce.
I'm in love with him.
Okay,
good
that is
pick.
interesting. Interesting pick from
We
Zach.
can't overlook Tyler Booker too, blue chip
I know.
prospect guard out of
Yeah.
Alabama. That's a phenomenal choice too. If that that's the route we go. I like that pick. That's a good pick, Zach.
So we'll lock in James Pierce there. Now we get to 59. Obviously you see Xavier Watts on the board. You see Marcus Bow, the guard from Purdue, a guy I like a lot. Two
Wow.
guards here. Got a receiver, Trey Harris from Ole Miss, Jack Betch, Jaden Higgins, TJ Sanders, a guy that we all like.
Mm-hmm.
I know Dawson loves Tyleek Williams. Unfortunately,
Ooh.
Dawson, this is not your draft. This is Zach's.
Wait,
Starks fell to 56 in this. That's definitely not happening.
Wow.
But okay, Zach, who are you eyeing right here at 59?
Well, I mean, shoot, Adam just said it in the chat. I mean, my eyes got big whenever I saw Xavier Watts there. I'm super high on him. We talked about him in the safety preview, and right now it would take some convincing to see me picking anyone else. I'll be honest.
Yeah, I love Watts. Watts is my number 2 safety. Just an elite ball hawk. Like Zach and I said in our safety video, probably not going to play any nickel, but like him and Washington back there with Hamilton in the slot. Zach, what did you say? 13 picks the last 2 years, something like that at Notre Dame. The 2 Notre Dame safeties paired up together would be pretty cool.
I didn't even think about that too. I wasn't able to join you guys for the safety pod, so you didn't really get my thoughts as far as safety.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't done as much deep diving into it as much as you guys have, but the world out there of having a ball hawk, another safety, a guy that you can get when you come in, or what you're getting from him when he comes in, I think it'd be a fun storyline too.
Yeah, I'd say Marcus Bow from Purdue would be interesting here, but I think if Watts is there at 59, I'm probably taking him no matter what.
Yeah.
Unless obviously you go Starks in round 1, but in this case, Zach.
I mean,
yeah. In this case, Zach is loading up on the defense with Pierce and Watts.
Mm-hmm.
I like that pick. That's what I would have done there as well. And now you're sitting at 91. Just to remind everyone, we have gone with James Pierce, the edge from Tennessee at 27, Xavier Watts, the safety at 59. Here is your 3rd round pick, Zach. Some guys available. You see Makuba, obviously, probably not going to go with him. Dang, some safety Zach likes here. Kevin Winston is there at 95.
I love Winston.
What sort of, I guess, Dawson, after, let's say you go edge and safety, Dawson, what position are you maybe looking for in the 3rd round?
I mean, 3rd round, it's probably between 2 for me. It's got to be between corner and probably linebacker at this point. I would love to sit here and say guard. My thing though with guard is if you're not getting a guy in round 1 like Tyler Booker, you might as well wait till rounds 4 or 5. I don't really see the difference in picking a guy this early opposed to in the hundreds. So here I'm looking for a corner. There's a lot of early corners every year that are really solid and around this range in the draft. And you got to look at linebacker too. It's a huge need. I feel like some linebackers go around this time usually in the draft and they turn out to be studs. I think if I'm picking one here, I'm going corner. I'm at least looking and seeing what's left.
Yeah,
I'm definitely eyeing Shamar Turner there. I'm big on Texas A&M linemen, and I think that even with guard like Shahin here in the chat, what is our obsession with safety? We don't have a single.
Wait, Zach, can you talk about this a little bit? Why you took Watts in terms of roster?
Yeah, position? I mean, whenever we talked about it in the safety preview, I was so high on a safety because really of the entire discussion of the offseason where we've talked about needing a 3rd one, as in that's how the Ravens operate in the defense. If it allows someone like Hamilton to step up into the box and play closer to the line of scrimmage, then that adds a whole new level of defense. So I think getting a safety that is in this situation a ball hawk, a guy that's not necessarily the opposite, but very much more poised on getting to the ball when it's in the air, in a Watts instead of a Hamilton and Ardarius, who are just, bruiser, do-it-all kind of guys. So I just love Watts there for hopefully a turnover machine, because I think that's honestly what the Ravens secondary is lacking right now. I'm really high on Turner. I think that's my pick here, but I think the idea of someone like Stewart there at edge and guards available, really at almost any point in this draft that are enticing, I still lean towards a little more interior D-line help because I think this third round is also where someone like Matabike was picked.
Yeah.
And that's kind of a funny situation where it's another Texas A&M D-line.
I was just about to say, look where he's from too.
I'll take Turner here.
We got a comment from Bruh. Linebacker, because we lost one of our best to the Steelers again. You know, Malik Harrison leaving to Pittsburgh.
Definitely a need.
I wouldn't say one of our best, but
it's definitely a need. Like
Malik Harrison was not good. But,
okay, so Zach, who are you going with here?
I'm going Turner.
Shamar Turner. Okay, so this is going to be now Pierce, Watson, Turner.
Mm-hmm.
So Zach's going edge, safety, and interior D-line to kick off day 1 and day 2 of the draft. Now we're going into round 4. Ravens have 2 4th-round picks. I would assume, maybe thinking about O-line here after going 3 defensive picks. You got Miles Frazier from LSU, Caleb Rogers, a tackle, Seth McLaughlin, probably not going to be taking a center. Guard from a small school, and Jackson Slater from Sacramento State available. Or maybe Zach doesn't go guard here, and maybe he goes with more of a value pick. What are you thinking, Zach?
Well, I mean, this is kind of the territory where I feel like Ravens target maybe their first offensive weapon because it doesn't need to be a guy that can start it. It's a guy that is a depth piece. So, I mean, shoot, I haven't heard Ollie Gordon's name in a long time. That might be a fun, little enticing pick. But there's also someone there like Miles Frazier who could be a guy that steps up and competes for a guard spot. And I also saw Kobe Bryant down there. A lot of you guys in the chat talking about a corner right now, and I think that's really
enticing. Dawson, I'm assuming you're thinking O-line here.
I'm trying to look at this board. You nailed it on the head, Zach. This is the part of the draft. You guys both kind of mentioned it, that this is where the Ravens tend to slip away from exactly what they need, and they kind of find the value spots. This is where they would go best player available over. Yeah. And I know they live by that motto throughout the entire draft, but the mid rounds like this right now, like you could see them taking a running back on the board at 129, and we'd all question it. But the Ravens do it all the time throughout the draft. So this pick is a complete toss-up. I wouldn't set this, specific pick to any specific position. But I do think that, if you're going this draft 1, 2, 3, all on defense, I think it definitely has to be a pick for the offensive side of the ball here, whether that's an offensive guard, maybe a tackle, development tackle. It could, who knows? They could get absolutely crazy and draft a tight end or a receiver. I mean, I agree. This pick's, given what we've picked for the first 3, Zach, I think this is probably an offensive line pick. It's up to me, but it's not.
Yeah, we had a comment from Adam78 about Jaden Higgins. I believe he went in the 2nd round. Big receiver at Iowa State. But yeah, Zach, who are you going with here?
It's between Miles Frazier or Kobe Bryant. It's really just kind of the thought that I've been so defensive sided so far. So I think we go Frazier here, get a little help at the guard.
Yeah, I'd probably go with that as well in this spot. Then you have a pick not too later, 7 picks later. At the end of the 4th, you're eyeing Kobe Bryant. He's still available there.
I say lock it in there. That's perfect for me.
I agree with that. So,
it's good value.
Through the first 4 rounds, I'd say, have you addressed every need? I mean, you get a corner, you get a safety, interior D-line, edge, and you get a guard.
That's very good value right there.
Okay, Zach, this is going to be sort of the last pick we talk about as we will speed through round 6 and 7. Any guys you're sort of eyeing here?
I was about to say I need a little scroll here because I all these names are starting to get
Riley Leonard, 3rd-string quarterback.
We always talk about Jaden Blue. It might be a next pick though.
Jaden Blue, I love Jaden Blue.
I know. I feel like I could hopefully get that next round. Yeah,
you could double up at edge. I tell you what, APR is a good player.
Yeah, this feels like a doubling up situation.
Virginia Tech guy.
Even though I kind of like the idea of a linebacker here.
Inside, off-ball linebacker?
Well, I mean, there's both there. You got the Notre Dame guy and there you go. Wow.
Teddy Buchanan.
That's an interesting way to spell Teddy.
I know. And just for that, I think I want him.
He's got a cool name.
Yeah, I think I want the inside linebacker address.
Yeah, Kaiser.
Okay, Zach, and then let's just speed through the sixth round here.
Okay.
Who are you looking at?
You know who Brad's pulling for.
Yeah, I know you're staring him down. Let's get that running back, Auburn Hunter. There, you see him?
Yeah.
Cool.
But we don't need another running back. We have 3.
And then I feel like that's another pick where you could go inside linebacker there. I think that's a enticing pick for
Johnson.
Yes, I like that. And then Bama and Ravens. I think that's a good little spot there for Robinson.
You
That's
Robinson.
nice. Okay, I guess I'm going blue there. Wow, he keeps falling. I guess. Heck yeah.
Okay, last pick of the draft, I believe.
Um,
Want to add a kicker, Zach?
honestly, that wouldn't
Or
be that
kicker's
bad.
not in here.
Oh, okay. I'm not totally sure.
Oh, they are.
Oh, Jesus.
361. Dang, man. Oh, kicker disrespect.
Why are they not there? That's so lame.
There's not a position group for kicker, but if you want to
That's
get Ryan Fitzgerald, you can.
I think Huzzy, is that a corner? I can't really read it that much.
Cohn from Western Michigan, yeah.
No, I was thinking
Huzzle
Huzzy
from
there?
North Carolina, Elijah Huzzle.
Yeah. I
Huzzy.
said to go there. Yeah.
Okay, Dawson, let's grade Zach's draft.
Yeah, I want a grade, guys. I want a freaking grade here.
All right.
I'm pretty pumped with this. This is like my dream scenario almost. Wow.
Yeah, that's
So
it's very top heavy. That is a really good 1-2-3 punch off rip. I'm a huge fan of the James Pierce pick. If he's sitting on the board at 27, the Ravens are going to have to be convinced heavily to turn in any card that doesn't have his name on it because he's a stud. The measurables across the board are absolutely just freakish, and that dude is an absolute power. I think that's a no-brainer. I mean, there's good guys on the board, but I think the James Pierce pick's phenomenal.
Yeah, I like it too. I might have gone with a different guy at 27, but I love Watts and I love Shamar Turner. I think those are two picks I agree with.
It's just good value too. I mean, gosh, if you can get those guys at those spots, I mean, that is just filling needs, getting amazing depth. And these are all guys that can not very easily, but very well turn into quality starters, fairly quickly for the Ravens, of course.
I'm going to give, I'll give Zach an A-.
Scroll down a little bit. Okay, stop right there. Let me just look. I'm just looking at, you double up on running backs, which in hindsight, I think is not a good idea. I wouldn't take a running back till maybe late round 6 or 7, kind of like you did the Jaden Blue pick. I think is great. But I think, as far as early round 6, or I don't know if that is early round 6, the first pick that we have in round 6, I would rather take another developmental piece across the offensive line, potentially like a tackle. The Ravens are famous for that. Or a receiver. I mean, this is a draft where we got no receiver, which in my eyes is kind of crazy given that we have a lot of draft picks. This is a great draft. I would be happy with it. Not that I only know a few of the guys, but I trust the Ravens to develop these kind of players. They do it all the time. Every year we get late round guys who turn into studs. I just think, there could have been a receiver pick in there. And I think that, a developmental like offensive tackle would have been good too.
Yeah, Chris said he would have gone Walter Nolan at 27. That's definitely would have been a solid choice there as well. Yeah. I might have even gone with Nolan there. I like what Dawson said.
For sure.
I like what Dawson said. My critiques would be maybe a developmental tackle and a receiver thrown in there.
Yeah, instead of the double up on running backs, and then what'd you get? You got 2 CBs in there, which is good. Yeah, I mean you got linebacker, doubled up on edge, which I love, given that the room right now is so wishy-washy. I think it's a good draft. Just that's literally the only thing. Just take out one of those running backs and throw in one of the others, and we're good.
Yeah.
Solid draft, Zach.
Yeah, solid draft. Good job, Zach.
Those first three, man, would be absolutely money.
Yeah, I was having a hate.
Pierce, Watts, and Turner. Holy, welcome to Baltimore. We're winning.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I'll go next here.
Oh, wait. I didn't give you a grade, Zach. I would say B+.
B+. Okay. I think that's a respectable.
What did you say? You said A-?
I said, yeah, I'm going to lower that. I'm going to say B+.
That's okay.
It's really hard for me to give a draft an A. Like that. An A is really tough to get. So B+ is very fair, I think.
Yeah, I agree. Okay. My turn. Let's see who falls here to 27. been pretty chalk at the front end. Wow, Malik
Wow. There goes
Golden
Stewart.
goes early.
Just wait till it gets 27. We can scroll up
Tet,
and look at
there
it.
he goes. Grant again to the
All right,
Chargers.
scroll up a little bit. I need to see.
Matthew Golden goes 7 to New York.
Okay, the crazy thing is Armand Membo, dude, his draft stock has absolutely exploded.
Yeah, he might go even higher than this.
Dude, he was like a round 2 prospect, I feel like last year. Like he was not, and now he's like a top 10 pick in mock drafts.
Yeah.
Absolutely insane. I mean, it looks pretty.
See, here Shamar Stewart goes 11. He was there for us last draft. Wow, Chris Paul. Bengals fans would be.
Please. Yeah, see, and then Tet goes 18 there. Hampton to 20 in Denver. Jackson Dart to Pittsburgh. Oh my.
The Steelers took Jackson Dart with Shador still available.
Wow. That'd be sweet.
Holy.
Oh my gosh.
Ravens, Shador at 27. Trade Lamar, draft Shador.
Okay,
Sanders,
so
please.
okay. If he was here, if he was really going to be here, I think I would take Mike Green, but I think it's a little unrealistic.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to pretend Mike Green isn't here, and we're going to sort of look at it like this. Similar board to what Zach was looking at. I do like James Pierce. I haven't watched a ton of the edge guys. I've watched D-line and safeties so far. So I know a little bit about him. But the interior D-line guys I love a lot. I'm going to make it a little fun here. And one of the edge guys that I have watched is Donovan Ezeraku.
Wow.
And he had, I believe, 16 and a half sacks for Boston College this past season. He's 6'2", a little bit undersized, but a great wingspan. I think he will be an elite pass rusher pretty early, even though he's not great against the run. So I think I'm going to end up going with Ezeraku. Do you guys have any thoughts on that, or anyone else you'd be taking here?
I've heard his name across the board a lot. This is, again, a guy that I've seen like round 2, mid-round 2, and I've also seen him top 25. So who knows where he's going? I like the pick. We're going to pound this drum that edge rusher is a huge need for the Ravens, and I think it's very likely that that's the pick at 27, no matter who it is. If the board's there, they're going to take it. I think there's a couple really good options here, Brad. I mean, if you scroll up, there's probably 5 guys right here that we're looking at that I would love at 27. So it's up to you, but I mean, I agree Mike Green's not going to be there. But there's 5 guys right here that I would take at 27.
I'm with Chris here in the chat. I'm almost voting a D-line pick here. I think Nolan and Harmon kind of fit your bill, but on the other hand, I know how hard you are on Ezeraku.
Yeah, Mel Kiper has Ezeraku as his pure pass rusher number 2 behind Abdul Carter, and I think I agree. If you're only talking about pass rush ability, I think Ezeraku is the second best guy in this class. It's hard to pass on Nolan and Harmon, but I think it's sort of a fun exercise to try out Ezeraku here. Maybe give the Ravens that pass rush specialist that they've been looking for, that they haven't really had since Suggs and Duvermail. So I'm going to go with Ezeraku here from Boston College.
Oh.
Now we're at 59. And sadly, Xavier Watts is not here.
Ooh.
Dawson, who are you looking at here?
I'm a big fan of the guy up top, but we just took an edge. So
yeah.
I don't think that would make sense. Jalen Milroe to the Ravens.
There's
Higgins. Jane Higgins is there. TJ Sanders, Tate Ratledge. There's a couple good options here. I don't know. It's kind of tough because we're at pick 59, and I like these guys, but I think 59 is a little early for some of them. I want to go BPA because that's how the Ravens live. But here, I think you're kind of reaching a little too early on some of these guys. I don't really know much about the Purdue guard there, Marcus. I'll be honest with you. I don't know much about him. Looks like he's rated pretty highly. That might have to be the pick here. Do you guys think that edge, doubling up on edge would be a dumb decision by the Ravens?
It wouldn't be dumb, but I think when you have other needs,
right? But Jack Sawyer, man, that's
Marcus Bowes, one of the few guards I have watched so far. He's like really athletic. I think in an interview he talked about how much he loves getting out on screens and blocking downfield. He's a guy I like a lot. And
yeah, this pick screams guard, I'd say.
Yeah.
Probably has to be the pick of Marcus.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Marcus Bow. We have a comment from Adam. Adam, I like what you're saying, man. I'm currently a student at Virginia Tech, so I fully agree with what you're saying. And yeah, I think he's going to be a steal in day 3 of this draft.
Big Virginia Tech guy here.
Okay, we're at 91. Okay, this pick is really easy.
Yeah, it is
the easiest pick in my life.
Very easy for Brad.
Okay. Who would you guys go with here?
Screams Makuba. I think
it has to be.
Someone mentioned Restrepo earlier, and I didn't mind that, but yeah, Chris is in the chat talking about Josiah Stewart.
Has to be Andrew.
If you're looking at doubling up on edge, this is the pick to do it. But I mean, there's no way we're going to convince you to take anyone else but Makuba, right? There's no chance.
No, I would go Andrew here.
Mm-hmm. So we've gone Ezraku and Bow, edge and guard. For people that don't know, for anyone that didn't watch our safety video, I'm really high on Makuba. I'd be fine with taking him at 59. That's how much I love him. And it's too easy of a pick. We have a comment, take Josiah Stewart. I like him a lot too. And I think that could be, maybe a real pick here at 91 with the, Jim Harbaugh still recruited these guys, and John's going to have a lot of intel. Jesse Minter, those guys. I think Stewart could definitely be a pick here. I honestly would be kind of surprised if the Ravens end up taking Makuba because he's 5'11", and you already have our Darius Washington back there. But I mean, instincts, talent is off the charts. So I'm going to go with Makuba here. Probably one of my favorite guys in this class.
Solid pick.
Nice.
Then we get to our 2 round 4 picks.
Ooh.
What takes away a little bit of the interest from this is the Ravens signing Cooper Rush, because I do think before that, every time there's a decent quarterback on there, you're thinking about maybe a backup for Lamar, but obviously not the case anymore with Rush. Ravens may have passed up on too many Maryland receivers in the past, and that could be a guy I'm eyeing here. You guys have any thoughts?
No,
my pick here is Ty Felton.
I know, I love that.
I'm sprinting that card to the podium. I think that just the homegrown alone, the Maryland product, I think that's very enticing for Baltimore. The history of us passing on Maryland receivers has hurt us. Maybe that goes into this. I think it's a good value pick. I would be perfectly fine at 129 taking wide receiver. I think that's prioritizing depth, not a need, of course. And the guy's a baller, dude. Run it in.
Yeah. What position of needs have I not addressed yet? I haven't addressed interior D-line.
Corner.
And corner. But I do agree with you. I mean, we have another 4th round pick, 7 picks later. I'm going to go with Felton here.
That'd be fun. That'd be a really fun pick.
So we're at an interesting spot here where you'd like to go D-line or corner. And that's not really where the board is falling.
Dylan Gabriel, quarterback, Oregon.
There's not really.
Weird. This is a weird board falling.
Yeah, this is interesting.
Ransaw there. That's not a bad corner.
Yeah, let's look. Let's see the corners that are available here. So you got Zy Alexander, he's a guy I like. I honestly don't think that's really a reach right here. I might end up going with Alexander. I think Ravens really need a corner at this spot. I will say, though,
all safety.
With the pick of Makuba, if he can play early, you could have Humphrey and Wiggins on the outside with Hamilton at nickel. So it's not a dire need maybe if Makuba can play well early. But I am going to go with Zy Alexander. I just think I think you can't go to the 5th round without selecting a corner.
It's a good pick.
The problem is I feel similar about interior D-line, but
I think it's easier to find a gem later though with that group.
Yeah, and like Broderick Washington
has a good history too. We have a really good history of developing late round draft picks and undrafted free agents across the D line. So
Yeah.
I would feel more comfortable taking a cornerback and somebody in the secondary earlier as far as development purposes rather than a defensive lineman. I feel more confident that they can get more out of the defensive lineman.
I agree.
Like, give me one corner, late round corner, like in recent years that we've like developed into like a real stud. Safety's different. I know safeties is different. I know that, but like
the last
undrafted or like late round, I can't think of a corner in the last 7 years that we've developed into a true starting stud. Defensive
and
line.
not even 7 years, like, and not even that late either. The last one I can think of is I think Tavon Young was a 4th round pick.
Yeah.
And he turned out to be a good player. That's the last day 3 corner I can think of that
I'm prioritizing secondary over a defensive line right now.
Yeah, so
I love Colby here. Wow.
Really?
Connor Colby.
You don't need much to sell you on just an Iowa offensive lineman.
Okay.
I'm different there.
I like what Zach's saying about. I haven't watched Colby, I will say. And obviously we haven't watched a ton of these guys here. And I might be biased, but I have watched Willie Lampkin. And I really like him. We also don't have a D lineman yet. Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh. Undrafted free agent.
Looks like you're not going with a D line.
I'm not going to be drafting a defensive line.
Oh my god. What happened?
I'm going to go with Lampkin. Sorry.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
It's okay.
I love Lampkin.
What happened?
I like my athletic guards.
All right, Pat Ricard starting nose tackle.
We're in the 6th round now. I'll speed run. We'll take a tight end here.
Tight end?
Yeah, Mark Andrews only has 1 year left.
That's wild. Take a linebacker, Brad.
I know. I kind of like that there.
Yeah, you want Trent Simpson starting with no competition behind him?
I do love me some Jaden Blue.
I know. I feel like that's such a Ravens pick. That's such a Ravens pick.
We don't need a running back.
Oh, I actually do like Nick Martin a lot.
But you have 4 6-rounders. I mean,
please
why
take
not?
an off-ball linebacker, please.
I'm going to take Nick. I like Nick Martin. I'll take Shamar James here.
Okay, that's a good pick.
Can I still get I can still get Nick Martin. Get another Jaden Blue. Sorry, I love Jaden Blue too much. We'll go Nick Martin here.
Dude,
last pick of the draft.
We're gonna have 4 running backs trying to make
last pick of the draft. You got to.
We're gonna have 4 running backs trying to make the team.
4 running backs is fine on the 53.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
that's like normally what the Ravens do.
Keaton Mitchell's never getting any snaps, guys.
That might be true.
He's never going to see the field.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you guys think?
I mean, immediately I look at Makuba and Bao because I think that's like whenever you talk about the 2nd and 3rd round, it's between that, the needs group that you hope you can nail. And I think Makuba is a perfect kind of chance at that. And I think Bao's like a perfect guard choice, at least early on, because I mean, if Tyler Booker is there for both of our mock drafts and it's not for Dawson's, that would be so
That'd be hilarious.
It feels like that would be a obvious pick for the next mock, but it's funny that we almost followed in the same footsteps besides a wide receiver early on, and the only difference we had was interior D line, I think.
Yeah, that's my issue.
And I love Ty Felton. Getting that pick was like I said, storybook. It's just I would have a hard time seeing them not pick really any interior D line. I'd hope they get some, even if it's like a stupid reach in the 6th. I think they could do it.
Dawson, you're muted.
Sorry, boys. I like the Ezeraku pick. I think that, obviously Zach took James Pierce round 1, so, you don't want to do the exact same mock draft, but in no world am I taking – James Pierce was there, right, when you took Ezeraku?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so in no world am I taking him over James Pierce, but I get it. I understand it. They're both great. They're both high upside through the roof. Both these guys can become elite pass rushers at the next level. I like that pick. I don't know much about Marcus, guard from Purdue, to be honest with you. But if, he's rated highly and that's, around the likelihood of where he's going to be going in the draft, I'm all for it. Taking a guard round 2, if you don't, sign anybody in free agency before the draft, which I don't think anyone's worth anything, so it's probably not going to happen. I think that's a good value pick. I think that's addressing an important need with a high value, selection. I know you're a big fan of Akuba, Brad. I watched the podcast, wasn't able to make it.
Yeah.
I think that's also a good pick. You're addressing a position where, like you guys said, basically adds versatility and, improvement to the defense, because if there's a world where we can have Nate and Marlowe on the outside with, K-Ham in the slot and then have Makuba and Ardarius back, I mean, that doesn't eliminate, but it definitely allows the Ravens to not prioritize cornerback as much as they probably should if they don't draft a safety that they feel can play round one or day one. So I like that pick a lot. That would be great for the defense. Ty Felton, bring him home, dude. That'd be awesome. That'd be fun. He's not coming in immediately and going for wide receiver 1 or 2 reps. That'd be super exciting, and I'm sure everyone in Maryland would love that pick. And then Zy Alexander, and then you got all basically the rest of the draft downs filling depth and guys developmental wise. I really like the round 7 selection, Ryan Fitzgerald, Brad.
Mm-hmm.
Probably going to go there in my draft. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm just going to spoil it now. I think kicker has to be a selection, given that we have 12 picks. So, I mean, that has to be a selection at least. In no world do I feel like, we can't use one of those for that purpose. But overall, good draft. I wouldn't say it's great. I wouldn't be thrilled with it, but I wouldn't be upset with it whatsoever. I'm going to give this draft a C+.
C+.
But I don't say that in any bad way whatsoever. I'm just being a harsh critic. I'm just saying how I would feel with it if I saw this,
Can I defend it a little bit?
Yeah.
I think Zy Alexander and Willie Lampkin, I think very highly of both of them. And I think both of them could be like starters, like year 3 starters for the Ravens. I think.
Nice. So what's the purpose? I shouldn't say it like that. What was your reasoning behind taking a tight end?
Because you have Mark Andrews with 1 year left. And the Ravens have had 4 tight ends on the roster before.
Yeah.
And easily a year from now, it could be Likely and Kolar with no number 3 tight end. So
True.
that's
I think this is a perfect spot for the Ravens to take, another developmental offensive tackle type player.
Yeah.
I think that if you're looking for, we don't have an immediate need this year for a tight end 3, or a tight end 4. So I think that that's easily a position that the Ravens can use elsewhere. I think that's something that they can attack next year in free agency if that's the case. In undrafted free agency after this draft, they can attack it basically anywhere. But I would understand a tight end pick if there was an immediate need for it, or any feeling that it will be needed soon, but it's not going to be. We have 3 tight ends locked this year. Unless something crazy happens, I don't see it happening. So I just think that tight end of this draft is not a priority, which we know that, of course, but I don't think it's something that the Ravens should utilize and go after. That's all. It's not a bad draft by any means. I wouldn't be absolutely thrilled with it.
Yeah, I think it's funny how we agree with the edge and safety in the first 3. And I think that probably the no interior D-line bumps it down a little bit for me, but I think I grade it like a B. I think the James and Blue picks at the 6th round are awesome. And I think getting a Fitzgerald and a kicker in not hopefully, but in a world where we're probably going to lose someone like Justin Tucker.
Yeah.
I feel like it's good picks. I don't mind it. I give it like a B. I think I haven't really read up on Lampkin. I haven't looked into about that much. So I'd mostly want to come back, even in a week, when we do the second one and be like, oh shoot, I'm much higher now Zaraku and blah, blah, blah. So yeah, I like it. I think I'd have to get familiar with a few more of the names.
Sounds good.
That's kind of exactly how I feel too. I really like the, round 7 kicker pick too, because in a world where, we do need a new kicker, you get it with a round 7 selection, where I would much rather take a kicker that could, unfortunately, in a world rather quickly become your new starting kicker, rather than taking offensive guard or a safety or any other position that will never see the light of day in Baltimore. I shouldn't say safety, because actually the Ravens turn round 7 safeties into starters in this league. But I think that drafting a kicker there is probably the safest bet as far as a guy that will see playing time eventually on this team. So
for sure. All right, Dawson.
But we definitely all kind of see eye to eye with what positions we want to attack with what part of the draft. So
yeah.
There we go. I'm kind of praying that there's somebody there. Again, just let it go to 27 and we'll kind of look up and see who went where.
Genty slide a little. Warren slid a little.
I didn't see where Genty went.
Oh, Izaraku went quick.
Wow.
All right, let's go all the way to the top. Let's see what we got. Cam, Travis, Abdul. Membo went number 7 on this one. Holy. Jihad Campbell, number 9.
Graham fell to 8.
Genty to the Bears would feed families, man.
Grant went really early.
Holy. Wow. 18 again. That's kind of around 20 is where they're seeing him. Izaraku, 19, Brad.
Yeah, there you go.
Harmon, 23rd. Nolan, 22nd. Oh, my gosh. All right, let's see what we're dealing with here. Who we got? Those top 3, I would eliminate those 3. Okay, we got, Starks, Booker, Pierce, Simmons, Hampton. Oh, my. All right.
Dawson's going to take Hampton.
Right. I just think that Hampton's going to – he's going early. Here, okay. I'm a huge Tyler Booker guy. I absolutely love the thought of getting a blue chip offensive guard prospect from Alabama. I think it fits the Ravens meta to a T. In a world where you bring in Booker and insert him at right guard with Voorhees at left and create this wall in front of Lamar and Derrick Henry is like the perfect vision for me. I think that would help the offense so much more than it already has been helped. And I think it would be the best possible scenario because if you don't get Tyler Booker, who's going to be your other guard opposite of Voorhees? It's going to be Daniel Falele, and I don't think Baltimore wants to see that. So in my eyes, it's basically Tyler Booker or Daniel Falele again in Voorhees. Malachi Starks, dude, stud, ball hawk, super quick. It would add that versatility to the defense, man. This would be a really encouraging and intriguing pick here. Of course, you have James Pierce. We talked about that a lot. But I think here it's between Starks and Booker for me. And if you're going to ask me right now, immediate need, what helps a team more, I think I'm taking Tyler Booker. It's kind of been a vision of mine for a minute now, and I would love to see the offensive line with that inserted right into the center of it. So I think we're with Tyler Booker here.
I love the Booker pick here. If this was my board, I don't know, because with Starks and Booker, and even Pierce here, honestly, like I think there's great options at safety, guard, and edge on day 2. So you can kind of pick your poison. I feel like it's that's like true. Which guy do you like the most? Which guy do you think is the best football player? I feel like
that's true. And I can't confirm nor speak on it, but I've heard there's possibly some issues with James Pierce off the field. That's kind of maybe potentially causing his stock to drop a little bit. I'm not buying into it whatsoever. I'm just saying that, that is a little bit of a concern possibly. I think that there's quality safeties across the board. Like I said, I didn't join you guys for the safety pod, of course. So you didn't see, I didn't get to talk about it a lot with you guys, but I feel like right here, immediate need, which, taking these 3 players and inserting them into the starting lineup day 1, which one makes the bigger impact for the team across the board? I think it's shoring up the offensive line in front of, Lamar and Derrick, because I think that
I want to add something. The Deshaun here actually kind of pointed out here. If you wait until after the 3rd round, defensive tackle kind of goes out the window. This draft was specifically with Grant going that quick. All those D-line picks that we had in plethora by how late me and Brad had them, all gone here. Like it is about to get pretty scarce in that department.
I don't know, man. I know when you take an offensive lineman, it's really boring and it's just a pick that like nobody like in a bad world cares about, but it's just so surefire, dude. And you don't get these guys often, and he's like the one early in this draft that's like, all right, it's like the Tyler Linderbaum when he was up there before the Ravens picked him. It was like, well, he's the best center, and if you don't get him, you're not getting anybody else. That's good. And I know this is a little different, but I think I'm going offensive line here. So Tyler Booker, come home to Baltimore.
Here you go, 59. Got Jalen Milroe, Elijah Arroyo, Cameron Williams is there, Jaden Higgins, TJ Sanders,
Woo! This is a really thin board. I think here, then you immediately shift your biggest need to pass rusher and shoring up the secondary, whether that's safety or corner, like we talked about. I think either one, you're kind of doing the same thing. You either bring in an outside corner and keep K-Ham at back, or you bring in a safety and move K-Ham up to the slot. I think either of those picks are the exact same, but here, I think the Ravens need somebody across the D-line, Brad. Like you're kind of throwing at me. I agree. I'm a big TJ Sanders guy. I think the value here is not bad. I think if you don't take him at 59, there's absolutely zero chance he makes it out of round 2.
Mm-hmm.
So I think scroll back up real quick. Yeah, I think I don't really know much about
Princely and JTT.
I don't know how to say his name. I think TJ Sanders is my pick here.
Yes. I love it.
I like that.
He was one
I
of
would
my
maybe go
favorites when we did the Edge pod.
I would
the defensive line pod.
I would consider JTT here from Ohio State. But I love TJ Sanders.
I think you could plant Sanders right in the middle, dude. And with Madubuike and Travis Jones, I think that would be an absolute just force up front. And I would allow those guys to get home.
Yeah, I agree.
Look who we got here.
So you've gone Booker
Josiah
guard.
Stewart.
You've gone Booker guard and Sanders D line.
So I think that here, again, like I said, you can kind of address the secondary in one of two ways. You can either go outside corner, which in this draft, it's super thin. You're kind of limited. I think that safety is obviously more, there's a lot more depth. There's a lot more quality guys here. And I think that, I want the Ravens, and I do fully believe that they will address the secondary early on within the first 3 rounds in whatever way they go about it. I think here that, Brad's guy, Makuba, would be a safe pick. I think that, that helps the defense in a tremendous way. I'm addressing guard and, defensive line. And I know edge is a big need. I understand that. But at the, in the very worst case scenario, if the Ravens do have to march out Odafe Owe and Kyle Vanoy next year, week 1, I'm not upset about it. I'm not thrilled about it. I'm not through the moon about it, but I'm not, I don't think it's a terrible option. I would love for them to address it in a bigger way, but if that's what it is, I'm confident that they can do it for us. They both had double-digit sacks last year. And I think getting Andrew Makuba here would be extremely good value. I think it'd be a safe pick, and it allows flexibility across the defensive back front. And I think you got to go Makuba here. And I know Brad agrees with that.
Yeah, I
Winston on the board there. I would be a big no-no for me. I would have to go with Winston over Makuba, but I see what you guys are saying.
Yeah, Zach loves Kevin Winston out of Penn State. I think I would definitely think about Stewart Oladejo here. 2 edges I really like.
It's just another thing that gives me horrors is the Ravens' luck of drafting pass rushers in rounds 2 through 4. It's not been good. And I have trauma from David Ojabo and Tyus Bowser in recent years, and even the other guys. And I just, unless this guy is an absolute freak and his measurables are insane and he has production consistently through at least 2 seasons with his college against good opponents, I have a hard time justifying the Ravens picking him, just because there's been no reason for me to believe that they can actually turn that player around into a quality starter. It is what it is. I have a trauma from edge in those rounds. So it's hard for me to justify the Ravens taking a pass rusher, rounds 2 through 4, if it's not, a guy round 1. So I think here has to be safety.
Yeah. Ravens have struggled a bit with the, Adisa Isaac just last year.
Yeah. And these guys never even see the light of day in Baltimore. So it's like, I don't even want to draft them at this point.
Yeah.
Ooh, Billy Bauman, Ali Gordon. He's a fun name. Ali Gordon. I don't buy into the running backs in this draft. So we addressed offensive guard of Tyler Booker in round 1. Round 2 went with the interior D line of TJ Sanders. And then round 3 we went with
Kuba.
Yeah. So I think here it gets interesting. This is where you get into part of the draft where there might be picks that no one expects coming from positions all across the board. This is going to be VT. Dude. Get out of here, Brad. I think here that it's going to be BPA type situation, even if it's at a position that is not 100% needed by the Ravens. Scroll down a little bit, Brad, if you don't mind, please. Slowly. I don't know. What are you guys thinking here? Like, where would you go about addressing position if this was our first 3 off the board?
So we haven't taken edge or corner, right?
Correct. The corners of this draft, man, are so tough.
Yeah, corner is like,
but
there's a lot of corners in like the mid-second round, which the Ravens won't be picking there.
I think edge has to be the pick here, to be honest with you. Because it is a priority,
I
obviously,
think.
and I would like for them to address it in some way. Of course, I don't want them to completely ignore it. Is that the best player available right there, Josh Joyner?
Yeah, Joyner, yeah.
All right, Brad, you might get the benefit of the doubt here. I think I might have to trust you and go with your boy APR from Virginia Tech. I don't know much about him, obviously. I don't know anything about him, but
he had like
edge. I think at this point, you just got to get somebody. I mean, is this a reach? Is this a little too early? I believe.
No.
Sure about that?
It's not a reach.
Are you sure about that, Brad?
It's not
because
a reach.
We have
not a reach
picks.
for Brad.
I'm not
ranking wise. It's definitely a reach. But I mean,
Dawson.
A lot of people are high on him.
16 sacks in the ACC.
It is pretty
16.
Remarkable. That's very encouraging.
You going with APR?
Go best players available across the board real quick. Yes, I'm not gonna address the safety. I'm not gonna address running back, defensive line. Again, I'm not gonna go on guard. I'm not gonna double up on guard. I don't think I'm gonna go. It has to be edge. It has to be outside linebacker of some sort. So I think you're gonna get your boy Brad.
Let's go.
If it may be a reach, the productivity is there from what you say, in a good competition for football wise.
That is what you're saying, right? Like you're scared. Like if you want the Ravens to take an edge, you want someone who at least was very productive in college.
Because in recent years, the Ravens have always taken a guy, at least not always, but for the most part, have always taken a guy who hasn't quite had the production, but is a freak athlete, and a guy who has all the measurables to become a great athlete, but he's never, had the time to do it. He's never actually done it on the field, and that's fine. But we have no history of developing that and actually progressing into a quality starter. So I would much rather take a guy who may not, have the great measurables, but has the productivity in the field. He's been there, done that in a pretty good competition conference for football. And I mean, just 16 sacks in the ACC, like you said. I mean, I'm taking that. I'm taking that. The guy's been there, done that. So, what we got? Ollie Gordon still sitting there staring at me right in the eyes. See, this is where it gets tough because everything on the board is like running back, offensive tackle, safeties, and I'm just not looking for those positions. I think here you could potentially look at wide receiver, cornerback 100%. I think you also got to look at offensive tackle development guy because, Jalen Lane. I like how you just keep highlighting all the
Jalen Lane can punt return, I will say.
I feel like this podcast is sponsored by Virginia Tech or something. This is insane. I'm getting peer pressured into Virginia Tech selections. Go to BPA and scroll down like one column past the running backs and safeties. I mean, I don't want to reach on players, but I mean, it's kind of where we're sitting right now. So we addressed offensive guard, interior D-line, safety, and edge.
The only need left is corner that you haven't addressed yet.
Right. Okay. I guess here we're probably gonna go corner then because it's how just best player available, right? I mean, that's how they do it. Even if Caleb Ransaw. I have heard of him. I have not done any research on him. I don't know anything about him, to be honest with you. I'm probably going best corner available at that spot. I feel like that's a Ravens pick.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where we at? Pick 176. We've addressed all offensive needs, I feel like. Maybe a developmental guy, like we've been saying. I feel like we've addressed all the big needs across the D. I think from here on out, I feel like it's just best player available. And even if that's a running back, I'm not taking a tight end, but I think that here, Chase Lunt, offensive tackle from UConn, developmental guy, I think that's right in the Ravens' wheelhouse, and that's probably my selection here. Oh, wow. We're with quick back-to-back picks. 183. We're sitting at safety, center, outside linebacker, guard. Okay. I'm not addressing guard again because you took a round one guard and you have guys on the roster that are fighting. I'm not taking any offensive linemen the rest of this draft. I'm set there. I think that, this is where you can get a running back. At 183, I would be okay with the Ravens taking a running back. You got a guy like Jaden Blue. Donovan Edwards. Don't take him yet. These are some guys that I think would be nice. Let's go to the defensive side of the ball again. Or I'm sorry, let's go to wide receiver, not defensive side. I'm thinking of the next pick. It's like right there, dude. Of course. This is insane, dude.
Dawson, he's crazy. A punt returner. He's a punt returner.
Is he really?
Yes.
Oh, that's very enticing because the Ravens obviously are
Won't have
looking
one.
for somebody like that.
I think he ran
What's
4.39.
his measurables? Is he like a big receiver? I mean, is
Yeah,
he?
he's like,
You don't got
because
to
I
look it
don't
up.
know how
You don't
wrong the combine numbers are versus the, the school numbers are never right.
Yeah.
Combine has him at 5'10", 191. He ran a 4.34.
He's tiny. Zach, any thoughts so far?
I like the wide receiver route here, especially if a guy can be a returner. I love that. I think that's really shaping out a good back end of the draft.
Yeah, and I feel like right now at 183, you're just looking for depth and you're looking for a guy that, provides versatility and a guy that you can develop into a multiple row type player, like a punt returner. So I think that here, I mean, what other position would you, could you address right here?
Off ball linebacker.
Yeah, linebacker.
Correct. Let's see what's left for that. Jack
Johnson, Higgins, Shamar James again, Lindenberg. Chandler Martin, I like him a lot, but you could get him a little later.
I'll take Jack Kaiser up top.
He's an edge.
Just take the pick. All right, go to running back. Take Donovan Edwards. Thank you.
His Michigan guy. There you go.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a very good pick. I think he's going to go a lot. I think Donovan Edwards is going to go a lot higher than he's expected to. I think he's just one of those mid-round guys that could go around earlier than he's projected. So here you address, you got another outside linebacker. You got a running back. I think here is just best player available. I mean, it's literally just whoever at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I would run the Kentucky pick in here, probably Jamin Dumas Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, we're getting to the point where we don't even know these guys. These are just positions of need that come from good schools. So you have confidence that the Ravens can develop them. And we're sitting here at pick 212. I'm going to run up. I don't want to take a tight end, man. I can't do a tight end here. Oh, I know about kicker. Don't worry, Adam. I can't run up a tight end here. And realistically, where do you guys think Ryan Fitzgerald's going in the draft?
He might go like a lot early. Like he might go.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like he could go a lot earlier than people are thinking.
Yeah.
He's the consensus best kicker, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Run that pick up at 212.
Fitzgerald.
Yeah. I'd rather be sure to get him, maybe even if you got to go a little bit earlier than he might. I would rather be sure to get him.
But I will say,
what?
I think the one position we haven't addressed yet is off-ball linebacker.
Yeah. But another thing, too, with kickers, it's like I feel like it's a trend in recent years. Teams are starting to draft kickers a lot earlier and a lot more often. Like I feel like back then you would never see a kicker drafted ever. And now, like every draft, you see multiple of them picked in round 6. Like it's so here.
Who was the Bucs kicker that busted?
I think I'm gonna match you here. I think I'm going Shamar James from Florida.
Who was the Bucs kicker? Robert Aguayo.
Oh yeah, Roberto Aguayo. Did they draft him like super early?
Yeah, it was like a 4th rounder.
Yeah. All right. What are we looking at here?
Stout. Holy crap.
Zach, give us your thoughts on Dawson's draft.
Well, I mean, it's without the edge until later, which is okay because APR is apparently proven. If that stat we had from earlier was like true, 25 sacks in 2 years, that's pretty impressive. And I love Ransaw. I think that's an awesome pick. But you start out really addressing the biggest impact need, like you said, Dawson, with Booker. I love that. I think Sanders I think today it was reported a few top 30 visits. So teams are pretty high on him. So in this scenario, I would assume that's a pretty big value pick for them. The only one I just was not happy with was Makuba over Winston. I love Winston, so it was difficult for me to see him go. But I think Makuba is still plenty great pick there, just given the need for a safety. We all kind of addressed that kind of early on safety need. All 3 of us did because it got a little switched up with edge and O-line, but I kind of ended up evening out. And I think what you did, what I hoped I would have done, which was kind of a little more developmental and really nailing the needs by the end of the draft. So a tackle to develop, linebackers to develop, Edwards as a good maybe 4, for preseason and such. So I love it. I think it's a great draft.
Yeah, I agree. I love Booker at 27. I've always been an O-line guy. If you can make your O-line better, make it better. I don't care what other needs you have. Obviously, going Makuba and APR back to back, my two favorite picks. I like that as well, and obviously grabbing a kicker who I think is going to be a really good player. I like that as well. I'll go B for Dawson.
I think the value for Booker and Sanders gives it a little bump. I go B+.
Thanks, guys. That's funny. That was fun.
And there you have it. There's our first mock draft Monday. We'll have two more of these before the draft. We still have a lot of positional videos to do. We're going to get some of those out this week. I think we have edge coming soon, along with maybe corner. So we'll be talking about those guys as well. And yeah.
You guys let us know down below what you thought of the drafts. Who had the best one? Who had the one you'd be most excited to see? Thoughts, changes. Who did we take over, another player you would want to see? But we're excited to do these. We're going to be bringing 9 drafts to you guys because we're doing 3 of these, 3 apiece. So we're having 9 mock drafts. So it'll be fun to see how, the feelings change towards the end, closer to draft time. We could have players that were like, oh, no, not anymore. So who knows? It's going to be fun.
Yeah, for sure. Appreciate you guys who are active in the chat tonight. Adam, 78, David, Chris Swain, Deshaun. Appreciate you guys. And yeah, we'll see you guys later this week. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to like the video, subscribe if you haven't already. Check us out on Spotify, link in the description if you'd rather listen over there. And yeah, everyone have fun watching the national championship tonight.
Yeah.
Go Houston. Go Houston.
Basketball.
Whoa, go Houston. Whoa.
Whoa, Brad. Whoa.
Are you guys Florida fans or something?
Nah, we ain't talking basketball on this podcast.
I'm a Walter Clayton guy.
Okay. Anyway, we'll see you guys. We'll see you guys later this week. All right. Peace.